And Kamala's
you had it right. You almost got it.
I will say Kamala's name any way that I want to.
When you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't.
Welcome to Racist of the Week. My name is Reese Waters. This is where we expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. You can also feel free to send me any nominees or any comments that you have about this video to my email, reese@reesewaters.com. Today's nominee, South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Now, I've been wanting to get at Nancy Mace for a while.
And Maria, I've said this many times on your program. I represent a very purple district. 40% or more of my voters are independent. They're not affiliated with Republicans or Democrats. I'm going to rebrand Tim Walz as Tampon Tim, because you cannot say Hunter without saying Biden.
But it kept getting put off for more relevant congressional members. You know, it's kind of like the same reason why you haven't responded to all those messages in your spam folder. But as a noted philosopher once say, today I got time, cuz.
Today I got time, cuz.
She joined a CNN panel including Michael Eric Dyson and Keith Boykin, both of whom I thoroughly enjoy, and boy, were I glad they were there. Let's start hot.
And Kamala's
you had it right. You almost got it.
I will say Kamala's name any way that I want to.
No, but you mispronounce her and you also misjudge her.
I just did, and I'll do it again.
Mispronouncing her name.
That's a refusal to acknowledge her humanity.
If I purposely mispronounced your name, that would not be appropriate.
Policies.
Now, this little tidbit was prefaced by a bunch of discussions about sexism, so that had already been laid on the table. And here we have her very intentionally mispronouncing Kamala Harris's name. Now, I actually talked about this on my live a few weeks ago about the fact that there is not a vice president or a presumptive nominee that I can think of that we ever regularly refer to by their first name. I used to like to say Mitt a lot, because when do you ever get a chance to say Mitt? But here we have her actually saying it right and correcting herself and saying it wrong.
And Kamala's
you had it right. You almost got it.
I will say Kamala's name any way that I want to.
And following that up with, I can pronounce her name however I choose to pronounce her name. Now, seeing as how we have taken sexism off the table, why would that be? Why would that be? You know, you being an advocate for women and all, why would you feel that you can just disparage her by mispronouncing her name intentionally? And I'm not going to get all gassed up about it, because if a bird flies and chirps, why would you be shocked? I am curious how your in-state legislator Tim Scott, who asserted that racism was in fact over and it was the reinvention of the Southern heart, was that it?
I think it's exciting, no matter the outcome. It's the evolution of the Southern heart that we see on display. And we Southerners get so little credit for the progress we've made. The whole notion of judging a person on the content of their character, not the color of their skin, has happened. It's not going to happen. It's not around the corner. It's in the rearview mirror. We are living Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream.
Well, this new Southern heart is making a very clumsy, intentional point to mispronounce Kamala Harris's name. So, Tim, I don't know if you're still out on the imaginary honeymoon, but you might want to come back and weigh in on this.
A woman talking about women in the way he does. I'm asking you directly, when you see him direct such venomous rhetoric against this woman, not principled disagreement, do you find that problematic? And if you don't, you've helped normalize a practice that is vicious and misogynistic.
Look,
regardless, women can be misogynistic.
Let me let
I am a woman
answer
who
that.
has broken a lot of glass ceilings, and I have fought my way to have a seat at the table, and I wouldn't back someone that I thought was a misogynist, and I fully backed Donald Trump in 2020.
All right, I want to play.
So her answer to that is, I don't think he's a misogynist. That's your defense? That is your defense? If you were following that conversation, Michael Eric Dyson said women can be misogynist too, to which she responds, I have fought my way through a lot of glass ceilings for a seat at the table, and no, I ain't gonna say nothing. I mean, he literally telegraphed your play.
Michael.
That sounds like self-hatred and justification of white supremacy. And let me just say this. Because this Congresswoman is a wonderful human being.
She's a wonderful human being, has all the validity of you picked the right one. Or if you like it, I love it.
But when you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way.
Now, Michael, I'm gonna stop you right there. She absolutely intends it to be that way. She 1,000% intends it to be that way. There's no way she didn't intend it to be that way.
That sounds like self-hatred and justification of white supremacy. And let me just say this, because this Congresswoman is a wonderful human being, but when you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
So now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't a
BS.
racist.
That is complete
No, you don't have to intend racism to accomplish
you are
it.
intending.
She intended it and accomplished it. And it's rare that you actually get a chance to get full video in 4K with sound and everything of somebody both throwing the rock and hiding their hand. We saw you intentionally correct yourself to mispronounce her name, and now, when accused of racism, because what other reason would there be for that? We've taken sexism off the table because you fought your way through all those glass ceilings. Remember? So now that we have taken that off the table, now when accused of racism, oh, so now I'm racist. Oh, you think the louder that you say, so now I'm racist, makes you not racist? Is that what you think? If only I would have known that when I was a kid. Did you steal money out my purse? Oh, so now I stole money out your purse.
I just said you weren't a
BS.
racist.
That is complete
You don't
BS.
have to intend racism to accomplish
No. You are
it.
intending that I am
Your disrespect
racist,
of Kamala
and
Harris
that
is part and
offensive.
parcel of a tradition
wrong.
of disrespect.
Why can't you just,
offensive,
Congresswoman,
and it's,
why can't you
it's
just,
offensive.
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm telling you what the practice is
You
racist.
are. You absolutely
Why
are.
can't you just better way
let me get in here.
No, what's disgusting
That
is
is
your
disgusting.
disrespect of her.
Professor.
This gentleman said,
You know what?
I didn't know her name.
Disgusting
He's
to
trying
women
to do
is
it.
her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is, and if 25 years ago,
White women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is to tell them they're not real women.
25
They
years
care
ago,
for your babies
25
and
years ago,
respected
I
your
became the
humanity.
first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina. I
So call
fought
her
my
name
way
right.
through it.
So pronounce her name
blood,
right.
sweat,
Let
and
me
tears.
actually
So pronounce her name
and
right.
Kamala Harris, if
Kamala.
I were a man,
You said
I
this
will
We don't call
say
you Nancy
anything that
Mace.
I want.
It's
Come on,
Kamala.
it's Kamala.
You're doing this
You
on
disrespect-
purpose,
I am
That's
not.
disrespectful.
Just a second.
You can't expect people to
If
respect
a
your
man put
service
on
if
a
you don't
skirt
respect
and walked that
hers.
stage 25 years ago, she
You're a
would have
white
said
woman
it. She would have
disrespecting a
taken
black
that
woman. That is
achievement away from
problematic.
women.
But because you have fought tooth and nail through the Citadel and broken all those glass ceilings, you feel free to disparage other women. However, where are all these other women that you disparage? I'll wait. It's Kamala Harris. Oh, Kamala Harris, who you feel comfortable disparaging. That's curious.
I certainly take that, but I'm
And
wondering.
a lot of rich history
I'm
comes
wondering
out of my
about
district in
Trump-
South Carolina that I am
Trump
Say her
deeply
name
proud of.
with respect.
Trump injecting Vice President Harris's race and then suggesting that she's not actually black. Why is he doing that? Should he stop?
Well, I mean,
Yes or no?
I didn't hear him say it. I didn't hear what he said about her race. I am not going to weigh in on her race. As a woman,
He did say it.
Okay, well, as a
He
woman,
definitely said it.
I want
She
to weigh
turned
in.
black, he said. He said she was raised Indian. Now she was Indian, all he knew. Now she
Well,
turned
she's of
black.
mixed race, right? She's of mixed race.
He said that to the National Association of Black Journalists.
Right.
He went to, and he said at the same event where he said he'd done more for black people than any president in history.
I guess here's the thing.
When he was president, wages for women were better than they've been in a long time. Wages for blacks were better
The
than they've
lowest
been in a
black
long time.
unemployment rate in history. It
He
happened
did a
under
lot
Joe
of
Biden.
good. He did a lot of good
Let me just finish this
for
to both
people
of you.
from all walks of the
This
country.
doesn't take that much courage, honestly, to just say that was out of bounds.
Well, I'm gonna stop you right there, Abby. It actually does take a lot of courage because they're not gonna let her back into the compound, and she probably not gonna be able to eat for weeks if she speaks against the leader. So, you know.
I don't know what he said. I didn't see
He
the
said
Come
that
on,
she
come on.
turned black. He questioned whether she was really black. I don't think that's that hard to say. That's out of bounds. Can you say that?
I mean, I didn't say it, and I would not
just
say
say
it.
yes. Just say yes. Just
All right.
say yes.
I just
Guys,
said I
we-
wouldn't
we
say
are-
it.
They connect that
we
to your
are-
inability to
I'm not-
pronounce her name.
we are out
Now
of time.
It's a very.
We are out of time.
It's a cult. They won't say anything that goes
not in
against
a
the cult.
cult. Are you
Yes, you
kidding
are.
me?
You are.
Well, Nancy, you can't have it both ways. I just defended you for not having the courage to speak out about something that was clearly wrong because you're in a cult. Like you got to pick one.
I just think this whole conversation is hilarious because Project 2025, first of all, it is the Republican Party. It
It is,
represents.
again, that's not true.
first
That
of
is
all,
not true.
It
Absolutely
comes from
not.
You're going to tell me what my party believes?
Let me just say this.
Somebody needs to tell you.
It was created by Republican Party operatives, including former Trump administration officials. And what's so funny about this whole conversation to me is that
That's just not
Democrats
true.
have been so successful in branding this.
Because they got nothing else to run on.
It's so
Their record's
successful
on.
that every
It's
Republican
not
is now
true.
afraid of their own policies because their policies are toxic.
Running away from Project 2025 is about as effective as questioning Kamala Harris's ethnicity. I mean, we already have the receipts. We have the JD Vance forward. We have the officials in the training video. We have the speeches for the Heritage Foundation. We already got it. Y'all just messed up because y'all couldn't decide if Project 2025 was a legislative wife or a legislative side piece. Y'all chose to bring the legislative side piece to the wedding, and now you're mad that all the photos getting plastered all over social media and you didn't want nobody to know about it. Well, that's your fault.
2025.
do we have to
and you're going
say
to tell me that's my party platform. My Republican
like-
Party platform was rolled out by
Look,
Donald Trump a few
I
weeks
understand
ago,
what the
and it
official,
supports
what the
women.
quote unquote official
Right.
platform is, but the reality is that the people who created this platform are the people who were working
Right,
in the
and
reality
why-
is
why-
that you have
why
nothing
did
to
you
run
throw
on,
it
you have
in
no
your
policy,
way?
and you have to lie
the
about
reality is
ours.
that you're
It's
afraid
not
of your
true.
own
I'm not
policies
afraid of my
because you
policies.
know it's
Not my
unpopular.
policy.
It's a lie.
Eliminating the Department of
Keith and
Education
Mark,
is an
give me one
unpopular thing to
second here,
do.
because
But
I want to
It's
give
a lie.
Gretchen.
What you just said is
Trump,
not true.
Trump
What you
just
said
said
is
Trump wants to
100%
do the
false.
exact same thing
Keith.
Project 2025
He
wants to
does
do.
not.
He wants to eliminate the Department of
he
Education. He
he-
just said so this week.
Okay, Nancy Mace, he in fact did say that this week.
And what I'm going to do, one of the first acts, and this is where I need an Elon Musk, I need somebody that has a lot of strength and courage and smarts. I want to close up Department of Education, move education back to the states, where states like Iowa, where states like Idaho, not every state will do great.
However, Keith Boykin, she might have been in the waiting room. Yeah, she might have been one of the billions of people that was unable to listen to the conversation live.
But what's stupid is allowing people, criminals, to go into stores in California and not being able to arrest them unless it's $900 or $950 and more.
The problem
And
is
you
that that's
see
not actually
videos,
what's true.
And you see
That's not
videos
actually
of
what the
people
law is.
going into stores in these blue cities and blue states, stealing merchandise and not being stopped. We've all seen these videos.
So
But
should Donald Trump not be allowed to go into a store because he's a convicted criminal?
I don't think.
Ooh, I had so many comebacks, but Keith, that was better than anything I had. That was solid. Did you know there is no shoplifting in red states? They're not going to be happy you just told everybody they open for business. I was just watching a documentary about a bank robber. I actually thought it was incredible that they had the courage to go in there and rob a bank. Little did I know the fact that they were allowed to walk free just meant that it was okay.
They've abandoned the working people of America. They've abandoned the middle. They've now been taken over by California liberals who want the Green New Deal, electric cars, ban plastic straws. She wants to take away red meat. They're now going to institute government.
Are you saying that because you're associating her with?
No, those are the things she said. These are the things that she's all campaigned
policies?
for. These are all the things
To take away
that
red meat.
Kamala has campaigned for, reducing the red meat, banning plastic straws, the Green New Deal. She's now talking about government price controls for groceries. She wants government housing. She's going to tell you where you have to live. These are all part of her radical socialist
there is
policies.
government housing already exists.
Also, this dude was there. And after this, I know he wish he wasn't. Man, I can't wait to see the reaction back in MAGA land.
Virtually 100% of the net job creation in the last year has gone to migrants. You know that? Most of the job creation has gone to migrants. In fact, I've heard that substantially more than beyond the number of 100%. It's a much higher number than that, but the government hasn't caught up with that yet.
Wait a minute, I created this job in the last year. Does that make me a migrant?
And when they find out, I think you're going to see something. But right now, even not knowing her, and with all of like the cover of Time magazine, they didn't put a picture. They got a great artist to do it. What was that all about? You know, what was that all about? The whole thing is crazy.
Time magazine. I haven't seen anybody be this triggered by a magazine cover since I first saw the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue when I was 8. I'm going to go ahead and need you, for the good of the country, to put out a gang more covers. I'm talking about like every other day. And it just have kids send in photos of Kamala Harris. It triggers him to a degree that has given me so much entertainment.
I have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman.
If this how they acting before the DNC even start, it's gonna be a hot one. Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racist of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you, or you just want to send me a note, because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com.